actually have another video to edit, but it's Monday and I'm feeling a little like need to get into the groove. And so I thought I would finally get around to swatching these paints that I ordered from Japan a little while ago. Actually, it's been about half a year at this point. Anyways, it's a beautiful artist edition by this artist name, I'm gonna say it wrong, I know, Higuchi Yuko. And she does collections with Holbein, and this is the latest release. So I purchased these things directly from the artist website. You can order them from Holbein as well, I believe, and perhaps an art store near you is carrying these. They are a limited edition, so it has been half a year, so the quantities might be low if you're interested, but check out the artist website and see what her stock is like. The shipping was really quick and the packaging was really cute, and you're supporting the artist as well. So what I got was these two brushes. So I've got a flat and a round, number 6, and I picked up a watercolor pad and a set of 24 watercolors. I've never tried the Holbein watercolors before, so that'll be a first. And I just thought, like, this is the perfect way to try it. It was an investment for sure, and it's something special. Because look, first of all, this little swatch book also comes with a little bit of a history of the artist working with Holbein throughout the years. Very cute. But this is the real thrill for me. Look at these tubes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so these are 5mm tubes, I believe. Yeah. And every single one of them is illustrated, and they're just beautiful. So when I was in another art store, well, obviously I wasn't in an art store when I picked these up, I ordered them online, but I found this Holbein plastic palette, and I thought I was going to use it for my acrylic gouache that I also have from Holbein, but I didn't really like it for that purpose, so I cleaned it out, still like slightly stained, but I thought I would move these in here. Unfortunately, this is an 18 well and I have 24 colors, so my thought is to like do the remaining in here. We'll just make it work. Anyhow, let's squeeze some tubes of paint, set up the palette, and do some swatching. So what I decided to do is put the yellows, pinks, and purples along here. I'm gonna put the blues at the bottom, and then the remaining greens in the umber over here in this little well. So let's get to it. Now I think I'll save these paintbrushes for a little painting because I think they might be kind of big for doing the swatching. I took a page out of the pad that I bought, so we're going to test the Holbein paper. I've also never tried Holbein paper before. And the colors are so neat. It's totally different than other paints that I have. I usually buy the same kinds of colors, and I never really buy any paints that have white mixed into them. So something like this, or the lavender, or that blue over there. Yeah, very different. Like that gray looks really interesting. So I'm very curious to swatch these. They look delicious, and I'm glad that it's something different than I'm used to. So let's get to swatching. For the swatching, I'm just gonna use this old Da Vinci Cosmo top spin brush. It's in number 6 as well. I really need to get a replacement for this. I love it so much, so it sticks around, but the point's kind of not so pointy anymore. But I still really love it. It's a good brush. I like to lift some of the color in my swatches just to see like how staining it is and how liftable it is. I try to get a very concentrated swipe on one side and then something lighter on the other. And that lifts quite easily. Ooh, I like that. Oh yeah. It's like fluorescent almost. It's like a fluorescent magenta. Awesome. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's gonna be a favorite. This is a nice classic red. I don't know if it's a cadmium. It lifts really easy and it's quite gritty. Feels like a cadmium. It is cadmium red deep. This is quite a similar red, but it's blue toned and it's a bit deeper. Also kind of that same sort of gritty, liftable property. Oh, cadmium red purple. That's why. That's quite a transparent color. I don't have a lot of like violets. I tend to mix them, but the ones they do have seem to be on the transparent side. I don't know if that's usually the case. Now I'm very curious about this gray. I'm a little bit confused as to how I would use these white pigment mixes, like more like gouache. I don't know, but I'm curious. Feels really slippery. Is that the word for it? I'll have to check what pigments are used in this mix. I do like the greenish nature, like that together. It's kind of my jam. And this color I'm excited about, and I know I will love. Delicious. I love a turquoise, and I don't know if this is a cobalt. It's quite gritty. Let's take a look. Just call it turquoise blue. I'd have to take a look at the pigments. It does have a white pigment in it. A lot of these are mixed with white, which is interesting. Yeah, I just have this like feeling that Japanese colors tend to be... I have one other set of Japanese watercolors, which are the Sakura Koi, which I like. I don't use as much. I have too many paints. I do like that paint set. It's a very, very happy set of colors. But this one is definitely mixed with white, which is interesting. It makes me think like I should do like some sort of Studio Ghibli fan art with these colors. That's just like what it's saying to me right now. Ooh, this one's gonna be good. This is Peacock Blue, which is like an azure. I love a phthalo blue. This is a gooder. Quite staining, as they usually are. Nice. I do have another Holbein set of paints, which is an acrylic gouache paint set. And this reminds me of colors in that set. So maybe they make the same colors along all their paint ranges, which would make sense. I'm excited for these darker blues. I love deep blues. I don't know if this is their version of a Prussian, but I'm curious. I'm gonna check. And this one is royal blue, and that just might be the way that they like to call it.
And now I have very high hopes for this one. It is indigo, and I love indigo. It's just one of the best pigment. It's just the best.
Oh yeah, I feel like Japanese brands should do indigo well. I don't know how hard it is to make a good indigo, but I just find it not satisfying if it doesn't go dark enough.
Well, I like that a lot.
Ooh, my goodness, I love this color. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is definitely one of my favorites. Oh wow. It's like a gold green, but a more olive version. It has like a vibrancy underneath. I don't know what the pigment combo is for a gold green. Oh my gosh, what are you? Olive green. That is like the best olive green ever. I have one other olive green pigment from Schminke and it does not look like that. I never really am drawn to this kind of green. It's just kind of boring to me, but if you were gonna do a little Ghibli illustration, I can see how that's handy. And I think that Ghibli does use Holbein paints. And this is like a phthalo green, like a viridian, which I used to not understand because it seemed like so unnatural to me, but it's actually really good mixing colors. This one's got a lot of white in it as well. It seems like so many greens. It's just because I don't use greens that often. Okay, this looks like it might. Oh. Okay, I have very few greens that I love. Green gold is one of them, and Nevskaya Palitra, the White Knights green, is my favorite green. And this looks like it, except it doesn't go quite as deep. Okay, so that's them. Interesting. I mean, I didn't look into the colors before I bought them. I wanted it to be a surprise. I'm curious if these are the colors that the artist herself uses, and that's why they're selected, but interesting, interesting. If you watched my art haul video recently, you will have known that I bought this little mat to protect my desk when I'm painting. So far I'm really liking it a lot. Here's a little note: if you're doing any swatching at home, have two pots. One pots of water, one for dirty water and one for clean water. So in between, make sure that you're taking from the clean water, otherwise you could affect the swatch a bit, you know, because like pigment gets built up in there. So now I'm just gonna write in all the names so we can look at that together. So there we have it. That's the latest edition of the Higuchi Yuko partnership with, or collab with, Holbein watercolors. There's actually a larger set with like, I think the entire color range, which is quite extensive. There are lots of colors. So there's the 24 set, and then there's like the large set. I thought it was overkill for me, and I thought this was a good way to like just find out what they have available. So interesting. Not what I expected, to be honest. Like, I didn't think there would be so many pastel-y colors, but I've never tried pastel colors. This is a good way to like play around with them. Some of my favorites from this set have got to be definitely the olive green, although it dried down a lot lighter, but I think if you layer it up you can get that intensity back, although it doesn't have as much of the yellow undertone as it does when it's wet. They dry down quite flat, as a whole. Like, I think that there's a lot of white pigment. I'm gonna have to take a look on the pigment labels, but I think that quite a lot of them do have white pigment. I love this opera. I have an opera in the Winsor Newton, but it's not as magenta as this one, so this one's really cool. I like this yellow gray. I have a similar color. I think it's called smalt yellow in the acrylic gouache. And this is like one of my favorite colors in my White Nights palette, so I know I'll use that a lot. Anyways, I'm very curious to see what I can do with these. I'm a little bit stumped. So if you have a suggestion, I'm thinking like some sort of like Studio Ghibli fan art thing. But if you have a suggestion of a particular movie or a particular scene or character, yeah, put a comment down below, and that would be helpful to me. So thank you for watching. I hope that this was interesting to you, and if you do own any Holbein paints or other Japanese brands, or several different Japanese brands, tell me your thoughts in compared to like Western paints, because what I've come to gather is that they're quite chalky, like they're grittier, which is not a bad thing, it's just a different thing. I actually personally really like that gritty texture, but they lay like quite on the surface of the paper, you know, kind of more like a gouache would. And because they're sometimes mixed with white, they're more opaque as well, which is interesting. It's interesting. So if you have an artist that you follow as well that works with Japanese paints and you recommend them, let me know. Anyhow, hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye guys.